Thank you for joining this Wisdom Field broadcast from Valdymas College. Valdymas is an organization committed to sound character development, academic excellence, and transformational education for all our students. We're guided by discipline, excellence, and wisdom. We hope that this to your heart and transform you into a metal leader. Wouldn't you find a comfortable position and take a good listen? Hey, good morning, dear viewers. I'm excited to come to you today, and I would like you to take your time to listen to this to the end, because this is hot stuff. It's hot stuff you need to know going into next year, and you really need to embrace this mindset, this way of thinking, so as to get the best result from next year going forward. I would like you to also subscribe. Please do subscribe and listen to this to the end. You will never recover. Thank you so much. Today we're talking about the innovating mind. The innovating mind. I'm Dr. Kolawole Joshua. I'm a transforming mind evangelist. And I would like you to understand this, so I would go as slowly as possible. You see, innovation is simply staying relevant. Simply staying relevant. I'm sure the pictures you can see on my right already explains deeply why you need to stay unique. You need to keep becoming new every day. You need to become unique. You need to be useful. I mean, valuable. So that means you must evaluate anything you do for actual real value. And then you need to come out surprising to us occasionally. Innovation is creating new value, or creating a new way by which we can capture those values, by which we can extract joy from those values. So it's a mindset, it's a habit, it's a way of life, it's a thinking. It's supposed to be a lifelong process. And it's an art of creation, implementation of either a process or a service, with the aim of improving efficiency, effectiveness, or giving you an advantage ahead of someone. I want you to be calm. I need you to get this, please. You see, the innovator's mindset is a funny mindset, and you need to understand. Looking at this graph, you can see that innovation is on the uppermost spectrum. The reason why it appears like a feat, why it appears like it's only for a few sect of people, is simply because it has a pathway before you can become an innovator. You must be in the attitude of continuous learning. You must keep improving yourself daily. And now you have access to books. You have access to videos on YouTube like the one you're seeing now, which would push you to destiny. Look at it. From gathering data all around you, data about your expenses, data about how everything happens to you, you must understand the relations, and that will now become information. When you have information, don't forget, information is the vital fuel for destiny. Any destiny that is stagnant is probably lacking information. But it does not end at information. You must be able to connect the missing patterns. So you must understand the pattern via cognitive restructuring, a deep thinking, to be able to formulate this information into great amount of knowledge. And this would mean that you will gather information from several sources, from several authors, like reading biographies of many great men. Like in your field, settling down and understanding what are the pathways to becoming great. When you have this knowledge, you need to understand that knowledge working with the understanding of principles brings wisdom. And this doesn't just fall on people. So don't be deceived by living in a society that feels that people just become wise spontaneously. No, people sit down, they get studious, and over a period of time. So it requires it's continuous, consistent learning from great minds, listening to my video. Then you become wise, because it now forms a belief in you. And now, by the time you consistently get to understand ways by which imaginative transformation can happen to you, then you start moving towards innovation. So innovation doesn't just fall on people. It's a task that you need to sit down and manage your life about. And so learning is key. And you can see from researching to absorbing the knowledge to doing, it means you have to do, you have to interact with people while doing, you have to keep reflecting, reevaluating what you're doing. Touch on your imagination, become creative, and then you can scale up whatever you create. And so that means creative thinking is key. And then you must learn the management of change and how to adapt to change. It's not the strongest of the species that survive. It's the species that most adapts to change. You must adapt to technological change. You must evolve rapidly at the speed of evolution. I hope this would make you understand the trend from gathering data, why you need to increase your appetite for asking questions so that you can get as much information that you use to connect to knowledge. Anything you do spontaneously without researching about is most likely what you're doing from common sense. It's most likely what you're doing. So by the time you invest hours and days of studious reading, learning about a process, then you will be gathering information that will go to knowledge. From there, you will understand principles that will take you to wisdom. So you cannot innovate just by common sense. If you have not sat down to be studious about an event, about a problem, about a challenge, if you have not asked questions, sought for more knowledge, you're probably acting on common sense. And this is what you need to avert, because you need wisdom so as for you to innovate. You would, there are three kinds of innovation as defined by Clayton Christensen. He was a professor of business innovation at the Harvard Business School. And he explained disruptive innovation. You see, there are some innovation that will just come from a deep mind. It will spike up and just disrupt the existence of things. So the world has enjoyed several series of disruptive innovation. I can explain to you using the computer model. There was a time we have a large mainframe computer, very big, very mighty, that it's only institutions that probably have them. And then with time, people started coming up with mini computers. Mini computers eventually disrupted the mainframe computer. And then before we know it, after evolution over time, personal computers came. And let me tell you, the mainframe computer cost about $2 million to manufacture, to put in place. The PC, the personal, the mini computers came, and it was just about $200,000. And over time, the efficiency became better until it could beat a mainframe computer. With time, a personal computer came, and it was about $2,000. And it was able to beat a mainframe over time. And then before you know it, laptops came, and now we have mobile phones. So you can see mobile phones as disrupted, laptop has disrupted personal computers disrupted mini computers disrupted mainframe. The same thing goes to the world of eyes. There was a time in history where in the winter people go to harvest eyes. With time, we start building eyes factory in our communities. After a while, better reasoning came, and we decide to start manufacturing a refrigerator, what you can call a personal chiller. And then now you have a mini refrigerator that can even help you. And there's also the concept of sustaining innovation. After an innovation has disrupted, then we need to sustain it by keep making it better and keep manufacturing it better. So you can have Apple, iPhone 10, iPhone 11, iPhone 12. That is sustaining the innovation of the disruption that came from the original iPhone series. And then we finally have an efficiency innovation, which is more of a process-based innovation that wants to seek to find a newer way for you to get more done with lesser prices, with lesser cost. So those are the three models you can have. So you could be a disruptor, a complete disruptor who will come with a new idea and disrupt the old order. You could also be someone in the sustaining phase, where after the new innovation is out, you will be one of the people who would improve it from iPhone 10 to 11 to 12 Max, etc. or MacBook series or different other maybe car manufacturer. You understand? So that's sustaining innovation. So I don't want you to feel bad. I don't want you to get weakened in your spirit. If you have not disrupted, you can be in the sustaining phase. And if you have not sustained, you can also be in the efficiency phase. Either way, you are an innovator, and get motivated, because being in the spirit of innovation would keeping you alive. There are three things why you should get the innovator's mind, why you have to be innovative naturally, why you need to switch. The first one is, by evolutionary trend, you have seen that changes will come by evolutionary trend. At a time, I'm sure radio transistor was a major discovery in the world. It became better when TV came. And before you know it, the next thing that popped up was the internet. And the internet has revolutionized a lot of things. So by evolutionary trend, you must understand that a lot of things will change. So you need to stay in innovative mind. Crisis will also come. Honduras once had Hurricane Mitch that changed their story. About 150 bridges collapsed. That's a major crisis. Another crisis that had come severally to us is financial crisis. And that's why you must stay innovative in your finances. Another crisis that comes in marriage. Marriage comes with crisis. A lot of challenges may come. Life generally pops up some crisis occasionally. COVID-19 is a global crisis. And this is why you need to stay innovative, why you need an innovator's mindset, to be continuously learning, to be creatively thinking, and to have a change adaptation mindset. And then finally, people of vision, people of deep thinking who could see ahead, they also bring about changes. So there are visionary changes. People see ahead, they strategically position, think deeply, and they bring about changes. So with this, you need to understand why you must stay innovative. Your focus, if you think you have an innovator's mindset, these are the things that must be in your mindset. You must always pursue after meaning, not money. It is the meaning that you want to derive from why you're doing things that will keep you going. It is not the money you want to make, because by the time you achieve meaning, you will definitely get wealthy. And this meaning must be narrowed down into a mantra. Mantras are generally 3 to 4 words core to whatever you're doing. So if you take example, Valdymas. Valdymas is a college that trains students on 3 core things: discipline, excellence, and wisdom. We do not want you to stay foolish. We want you to have a mindset that pursues excellence, keep getting better. And we do not want you to be indisciplined. We want you to have a strong sense of actively managing your life. So the mantra for Valdymas is simple: discipline, excellence, and wisdom. Nike has this authentic athletic performance. These are core, and they are so deep. They are deep meaning into why you're doing things. And then you must have the attitude of being able to flip your mind. You must know when to listen to people and when not to listen. When you're trying to make things happen, you can minimize the voice of naysayers. Whereas by the time you ship and push your product into market, or your service is already being enjoyed by the customer, you must flip your mind and start listening from the market and start listening from the customer, because that would help you for your next evolution. So you must be calm enough as a ministry, as a system, as an organization, to be able to know when to flip your mind, when to shut your mind and minimize the voices, and when to open up your mind and gather in as much information as possible to evolve. A mindset that always positions itself for uniqueness and strong value is an innovator's mindset. You must always think about how to be unique and how to be strongly valuable. That is what will put you in the upper corner of a 2x2 matrix that graphs uniqueness and value. You must stay unique and you must be valuable. You must learn to customize. You must learn to customize for the people you want to reach out to. Look, you cannot satisfy the whole world. You cannot satisfy everybody. The earlier you get it, the better. So customize the people you're speaking to, the kind of minds that you want to listen to you. Are they intellectual minds? Are they just the random people on the street? How do you want to customize your product for people? How do you want to customize your service for people? Be specific, be clear. There are some people that will not enjoy your service. It's not your fault, but you have to be strategically strong. And because of your customizing approach, you will definitely polarize the market. You will polarize the market because some people will be on your negative scale. They will be on your blind spot. But you must be ready to deal with them because it is natural and you must customize. How to innovate? You must be ready to engage in deep and long thinking. You need to shut down all these sharp ways of doing things. Let's just do it quickly. No. You need to be deep and you need to be long in your mindset. You need to think deeply, research deeply. Any product you're bringing out must be deep. Every service you are rendering must be deep. You must have deeper details that people are getting. I give credit of this to Guy Kawasaki, who has worked with Steve Jobs and also explained this. You must, everything you do must have intelligence in it. So there must be intelligence acquisition into everything you do. People must be able to ask, what is deeper about this? And how intelligently connected are these things? There must be intelligence. You can't imagine an iPhone, the intelligence of removing keypad off phones completely. You can imagine the intelligence when you use a Macintosh. You can imagine the intelligence when you drive a Mercedes. You can imagine the intelligence when you drive a Porsche. These are deep intelligence. You understand? And you could want to jokingly say all the vehicles that end with I, Bugatti, Maserati, Lamborghini, those I at the end are actually intelligent because they're actually deep vehicle with a lot of intelligence in them. Audi also ended with I, actually. Deep intelligence. You must be committed to completeness. Everything you do, you must be committed to completeness. You don't start things and just end. You must be committed to completeness. You must have the strength to push to the end. So every of your product must also define the completeness of your understanding. That is how you would innovate. So every time you're thinking deeply, you're ready to think intelligently, ask intelligent questions, and then commit to completing that task. And then you must find everything you do to be enlightening and empowering. Is that what you're rendering to people or what you're even gaining yourself? It must be enlightening and empowering. You can imagine a Mercedes, how empowering it is on the highway. It must be empowering. It must be enlightening. It must make you say, wow, see other deeper features, see more intelligent things. You must brighten your mind. You must expose your mind. You must brighten your day, brighten your horizon, make you think better. And finally, please, elegance is key. You must pay attention to beautification and beauty. Beauty is key to whatever you're doing. Aesthetics. You must pay attention to elegance. You can see the difference between the aluminum for making the MacBook and just the black plastic or the gray plastic that is used in making other systems. You must pay attention to elegance. Elegance in car manufacturing, elegance in buildings, aesthetics in environment. In everything you do, you must pay attention to elegance. So you could innovate along all those pathways. And I need you to beware of all these pitfalls because great spirits have encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Your ego and your pride will come in the way. You must be careful. You must learn how to reduce their voice. You must also understand that the voice of expertise would push you down. It's sad to say, that the higher people become, the more expert people become, the less the innovative mind they carry. It's painful to say, but it's just the realistic finding. So you must be careful when you're trying to innovate, think outside the box. You will hear the voices of some expert trying to knock you down. It's always good to listen to those who are behind the experts, who are not yet an expert, but they are still evolving, aspiring to become. Maybe people in the medical field, like the senior registrars, they still have a lot of space for innovation. So I'm talking about the people like the deputy directors, maybe the vice president, people who still are yearning for a greater ambition, who are still fighting to become something. When you spot people like that, I'm not talking about this in terms of title. I'm only saying look for features like that. People who are still yearning, aspiring, improving. When you meet people like that, they are more likely to help you than people who already become peak in their field. You also must be careful about the voice of people who are confidently ignorant. You see, some people are so ignorant, but they do not know. And they will confidently be talking you down. They speak more commonly with common sense. So watch them. Once you start hearing the terminology common sense or this thing doesn't make, just understand with them. You can imagine someone once said that why would people have a computer in their home? And I'm sure if you hear that question today, you'll just be laughing. And this is a top-notch, a peak director in an organization that was thriving very well at that time. And of course, you can know what would happen to that organization by now. You must be careful of the voice of the rich and the famous. The rich and the famous in our society tend to have a louder voice because people tend to associate wealth to intelligence. But it doesn't really flow together perfectly, not in all cases. A lot of people in more than 50% case even associate with more of luck, not intelligence. So the challenge is that people who are rich and famous tend to advise you from their own mindset. And you have to be careful. You need to know the balance. And then you must be ready to challenge assumptions. Every organization runs on an assumption. So until we're ready to open ourselves up and challenge those assumptions, you're not ready to innovate. Your past failures and experience would definitely speak to you. You must carry the commitment and the courage to face them and to subdue them. You must be careful about routine logic and common intelligence trap. You see, in every system, there are some things that happen commonly, that flows commonly. And because of that, people tend to just enter into that routine and become normal with it and say, wow, this is the best that can happen anywhere in the world. Yet, by the time you look outside and compare yourself with other sister systems, you will discover they are already breaking loose out of that intelligence and moving on. And finally, you must be careful about negative voices. You must be aware of the voice of those you trust because they will decide your destiny. You must be aware of the voice you trust. And you need to know, let me warn you though, the innovative process is a tough mental and lifelong process. It requires discipline. It's a deep learning thing. It requires deep thinking and diligence. You will need to deeply think outside the box or even think without the box. It was William Penn, the founder of Pennsylvania, that says, no pain, no palm, no thorn, no throne, no gall, no glory, and no cross, no crown. It requires strategic focus, deep visualization, and the ability to catch revelations. It requires deep strength and courage. So I will not deceive you that it will come simply. But I'm telling you, you need to do it. You need to do it because this deep strength will come better as you keep navigating the transitions in change. You see, change is a very complex process. There is, for every one who had moved from one major city to another before, maybe let's say Lagos to London, or let's say Lagos to Dallas, or let's say, let's even give, maybe from one nation to another, basically, even within the same nation, maybe New York to Dallas, New York to Houston, you would see that it requires a lot of courage to do the transitioning. You understand? Because you have to let go of some things which are already ingrained in your system. And you will be in a dead zone for a while. Only God knows how long that would last. And because of those despair, fear, anxiety, pain that will come in those dead zones. You will feel like, why did I do this? Why did I make this leap? Why did I do this? That dead zone is always what we call the valley of despair. At that point, you cannot afford to give up. That's where you need deep strength and courage to keep thinking. People will crucify you. They will rupture you. It will be like a dagger is inserted into your side. You understand? That is the point of your maximum strength. That is where your muscles is being built. For a student, this is the point of deep examination. And at this point, you need to stay strong. When you are being examined continuously, that is the point where they are building your mental muscle for the future. And you must align with power group. You cannot do most things alone. You cannot. You need a power group, people who are deep thinkers like you, who are fast learners, fast thinkers, continuous learners. There must be people around you who are deep, who you interact with, and you must be deeply responsible to them. You must be disciplined to be responsible to them. And you must always communicate with integrity and sincerity of purpose, because combination of sincerity of purpose with this deep responsibility would explode anything around you. And finally, this is the joy of innovative transformation. You will always be laughing. You will always be smiling. I see Jeff Bezos every time always smiling. But this is after almost 25, 30 years of continuous stimulation, continuous becoming, continuous evolving, continuous changing. Now he is the richest. He's standing out. You can see this light standing out of the crowd. You see every generation we have people who will stand out. But they are the innovators. They are the people whose minds stay innovative. You can see Bill Gates amongst many. You can see Steve Jobs amongst many. You can see Nelson Mandela amongst many presidents, amongst many lawyers. You can see Ben Carson amongst many physicians. You can see Les Brown amongst many speakers. You can see Barack Obama amongst many presidents. You can see in more intelligent people amongst every system. So the higher you innovate and you press and you go through the pain of innovation, by the time you move from the dead zone and you get into the next leap of life, you will find yourself always smiling like this beautiful young girl, and then always standing out with a bright light. That is the joy of innovative transformation. That is why some of us have made up our mind to keep innovating, to continuously learn, to continuously think creatively, and to continuously adapt, change with our environment. And you will need a lot. You will need a lot of courage. You will need a lot of strength. You will need a lot of fight. You will need to fight till the very end. And if you can do this, I can promise you that you will land on this joy of innovative transformation someday soon, and we'll both be celebrating at the top. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for listening to the end. I appreciate that more videos would come, and I would like you to subscribe. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Thank you so much. And this is Valdymas College. We have stood out. We are creatively thinking. It's an institution of continuous learning. We pursue excellence. We are the industry standard for access, for quality, and for relevant education. Because of our innovative strength, we have the best 100% online educational system for A-level training for students who would like to secure admission into 200 level in the university in Nigeria. We operate the best and most innovative school management system. Thank you so much for listening, and bye for now.